Another post on apartmenttherapy.com in the response section was a great comment from a reader who said that they traveled abroad when they were younger and they stayed in other people's homes. And as a rule, they had this sort of mentality that they would not take something with them from place to place if it didn't fit into their backpack. And this almost became sort of this mantra for them, almost they said like a meditative practice. So in making the documentary and now being in the home for a few months as your place to go for a while, has your mind shifted in terms of acquiring things, or has that mindset always been there? Do you now go into stores and look at things in a different way, like, do I really need this? Or has that always been there for you?
I mean, I think I've, at least in the last sort of 5 or 6 years, I've moved a lot, just from apartment to apartment. And I think that has sort of helped me downsize more than anything else. Just the process of like, oh, I'm gonna have to like carry this box of books up a flight of stairs when I move, or, and then, the process of thinking that you don't have that much, and then you pack everything into boxes and you're like, wow, that's not gonna fit in my car. That kind of thing has kind of, I think in that way, I probably own less than the average person because of the moving process and constantly kind of getting rid of things and whittling things down. But I mean, that said, we went to Melrose yesterday and I bought a cute pair of boots at a thrift store. And I mean, it's like, I don't think that, in terms of downsizing, I mean, I do like things, and I like the way that having certain things makes me feel creative, or like having my space set up in a certain way and being able to see certain things does actually inspire me, like on an aesthetic level, and it helps me to feel like I'm expressing myself in my life. And so yeah, I mean, it's sort of, for me, I think I'm still kind of trying to figure out that line, of like, I like to have options of things, different things to wear, because that's fun for me. And then at the same time, it's like either moving or having to fit that into a small space, what's realistic. So it's kind of an ongoing question for me.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I would also add that the people that we've had the opportunity to visit have been really inspiring in how they live their lives, and have encouraged me to do better in terms of really determining what I need and what I don't need. Several of the people we live with own pretty much nothing. Did I say what was it?
That we interviewed.
I'm sorry. Several of the people we interviewed, there's Tammy and Logan, and Tammy writes this blog, rowdykittens.com, which is all about downsizing. And she does the 100-item challenge, where she doesn't own anything. She only owns 100 items or less, including toothbrush, including clothes, including dishes. And I mean, when you think about it, that's nothing. And Dee Williams, who we also interviewed, she has less than 300 items that she counts, and once it gets to 300, she has to get rid of one. And as an interesting story, when I was out in Seattle at a tumbleweed workshop just that I stopped by, Dee has shown our trailer at the workshops that she's taught, and it's really awesome. And so I just offered a copy of it on DVD, because I thought it might just sort of make it easier than trying to find Wi-Fi all the time to show it. And then she looked at it and she's like, I don't have room for that. and I was like, oh yeah, something as simple as a DVD, you have to think about that when you live the kind of life that she does. And it actually got me, thinking about, because I had 10 DVDs in my bag. And so anyways, it's not, not that you have to nitpick about items. Everybody doesn't have to live like that per se, but if they can do that, then I can at least think about it in a broader sense, and like I can trim down what I have, because I definitely, even though I don't have a lot, I have more than I need. There's definitely a lot of things that I just want and have.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of just I think it's a good ongoing question to have, just in terms of like, oh, what do I need and what do I want? And it doesn't have to, be super minimalist, mm-hmm. but I think it's good for me, kind of preserving my quality of life, to just really be thinking about, is having this thing going to add to my stress, or is it actually going to add to what makes me happy?
Right. Yeah, it's funny, I always think about when I'm about to buy something, like, am I going to end up storing this? Because if so, I should just store it in the store. Like it's got a home here for now, until I need it. It's like, it can stay here. I don't know.